Hey, dude, man, play this shit right here, man. Play this.
So I was going to save this video for later in the year, but I feel now is the perfect opportunity to have this discussion. There's this new show that just dropped called Black as Fuck, created by Kenya Barris, the maker of Black-ish and Mixed-ish. With the release, there is plenty of talk around Rashida Jones' role as a biracial woman married to Kenya Barris. But I don't want to discuss what I think about the show. I want to talk about discussions that I've seen in Black circles across the web regarding criticism of Rashida Jones playing a Black or racially ambiguous character, while she has mostly represented herself as a white woman in other shows and roles that she's been part of. Now, before I get into my thoughts on this, I want to set a foundation for Black men real quick on why the topic of mixed or racially ambiguous people being labeled as Black sets the building blocks for how we develop our brotherhood and who we develop it for. Let me be clear. I do not have an issue with mixed or racially ambiguous people. I believe that their accomplishments and their stories deserve to be told and represented as much as any Black person's. But there is this very fine line that we are crossing in how we accept the images and the stories being shoveled to us, supposedly about us, with mixed and racially ambiguous people representing us. For those who care about building a brotherhood, understanding how these bonds are built will be one of the keys to our success. The very first ingredient in the recipe of building a healthy brotherhood is Black brothers effectively acknowledging and relating to other brothers to some degree. This is important because we're not just doing this for ourselves. We are trying to set something up that will help give our Black sons the mental and financial strength to help lift ourselves out of the mess created by things that happened in the past beyond our control. And by something, I mean a sufficient network of Black men in all aspects of business and entertainment whose goals are aligned with addressing current Black male issues of the day and having the power to provide resources in resolving those issues in order for our boys to grow strong and healthy for our future strong and healthy Black families. Continuing to rely on white people to tell our stories, represent us, and mostly provide a path of financial stability for us will not create any big ripples in the wealth disparity gap. The same can also be said about relying on mixed or racially ambiguous people as well. Please understand. You have to understand this. Mixed and ambiguous people do not have the same stories to tell as you. Their experiences are diametrically opposed to your experience as a Black man. And by Black man, I mean any sub-Saharan that has not passed the brown paper bag test. Now, I don't want to focus the varying viewpoints on the basis of how white people treat dark-skinned Black people and mixed people who had no choice but to label themselves Black differently. Understanding how we build our brotherhood will be in breaking down how we treat each other amidst an identity crisis, where we so obviously place more love and acceptance on mixed and racially ambiguous people calling themselves Black over unambiguous Black people. As we can see from most of the images depicted in the media, Black is always represented as someone with fair skin and light eyes. I'll admit that this isn't the case as much nowadays with Black men as it is with Black women, but Black men being aware of this is crucial to building a Black brotherhood, because some of us have come to the conclusion that we can create Black men outside of the Black woman. We cannot relate to one another and understand one another when we're helping to create another group of people that will have different experiences on the basis of their skin tone? How are we going to build a network where we are mostly aligned on the black issues of the day, with a racially ambiguous person in our network claiming to represent our views and working towards our goals with a totally different experience? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that black people are a monolith, or that we all think or feel the same way about the issues. But the very fact that dark-skinned people are either overrepresented or underrepresented in comparison to mixed or ambiguous people within a multitude of categories should be enough evidence that there is some difference in the cultural rendering of dark-skinned black people and mixed people. It shows that we have different ideas and different experiences that shape those ideas. Thus, when incorporating them into our brotherhood by way of the one drop rule, you are no longer creating a strong network for black men and black boys. What you're doing is padding a brotherhood for people who we see telling their stories as mixed and ambiguous people, who then relate to and create bonds with more mixed and ambiguous people. This totally erases you from the equation and changes the direction of wealth and awareness from being black family centered to being black-ish family centered. These arguments I'm seeing in defense of Rashida Jones are ridiculous. A name doesn't make you black. Having one black parent who is really a mulatto doesn't make you black. If a show is called Black as Fuck, then I want to see some black as fuck people. If a show is being called Black as Fuck, then I don't want to hear shit about your role or plight as a racially ambiguous person. That is not black as fuck. That's racially ambiguous as fuck. And I don't care if she's related to Quincy Jones, who many of you don't even know can trace his lineage all the way back to white men in his family that served in the Confederacy. That's right. Not black men who were forced to fight for the Confederates, but white men. That's how white as fuck Quincy Jones is. The man could be a member of the Sons of Confederacy due to his white lineage. For those interested in the history of Europeans creating a caste system to regulate and wipe out indigenous people, check out the video I just posted on my channel called Mestizos. It gives a quick rundown on the history of colonial New Spain and points out some very interesting similarities to what is still happening today. Let me know how you feel about all of this in the comments. Do you think I'm being a bigot, or do you agree that the media is purposely facilitating the erasure of unambiguous black people? Share your thoughts. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button on your way out.